Welcome to Ausyfish. Let me introduce myself. My name's Bruce Samble. Some people call me the Jade Perch Man or the Perch Man. In 1988, my family and I came to Queensland to establish the Ausyfish farm as we know it today. We started from the ground up. Well, actually, from below the ground. There were no ponds, no electricity, absolutely nothing, just bush. During construction of the farm, I served as president for the Aquaculture Association of Queensland for about 15 years. I've served on a number of other committees, including vice president of the Queensland Aquaculture Industries Federation and many government advisory groups. Ausyfish is the largest freshwater fish hatchery fish farm of its type in Australia. We have 127 fish ponds. They range in size from 10 metres by 20 metres up to 25 by 120 metres. 4 water storage dams, and these are all complemented by underground 3-phase power, underground water mains and underground air. This area is where we bring the fish after they've been growing in our ponds and prepare them to supply our customers. As with most of the facility, it's all been designed to be as labour-free as possible. One of the benefits of spending so much time serving the industry on various government bodies and committees is the opportunity to visit other fish facilities. And during this time, I've been able to steal, if you like, the very best technologies that other people are using. This area of the hatchery is our shade house. We're currently using this area to hatch rainbows prior to introducing them to fish ponds. The mops of the rainbows are hung out on these strings where they're able to hatch in natural sunlight. The sunlight helps to produce algae, which is an extremely important part of the first diet for baby rainbows. Producing rainbows, which we sell to the aquarium trade, gives us a steady income through the winter months. This helps provide the cash necessary so we can keep the staff that we've spent so much effort training. We spawn the rainbows in another part of the hatchery, the quarantine room or the climate room. So let's go back now to the tour of the hatchery. This is our well-equipped laboratory. The area is used to manage the health of the fish around the farm. It's also used during the spawning season to examine the eggs of our perch and cod prior to injecting them with hormone. And of course, the nerve centre, where most of the paperwork and accounting is done. The positioning of our office, with lots of glass, allows us to view most of the hatchery from this central position. Behind this door is where our aquaculture students are housed. The room is the same size as the office, and it has a small kitchenette on one side. This is our climate room. The area is used to spawn a number of species, including rainbows. This part of the hatchery is equipped with split system inverters that are well and truly able to keep this whole area at whatever temperature we desire. Each tank has its own water supply, its own air supply, and can be drained independently through standpipes, or simply remove the standpipe and allow all the water to come out of the tank. Air and water is fed to these tanks from above the ceiling, and the drainage is all under the concrete floor. Now let's have a look outside. Remember the rainbows you saw earlier? Well, these are the ponds that we grow our rainbows in. Those bigger ponds you see in the background are used to grow perch. With both the perch and the rainbows, they're introduced to these ponds when they're only a few millimeters long, and that's where they stay until they're ready to harvest to sell to our customers. The ponds in this area of the farm are all aerated, some with bubbles, the air being fed through 6-inch underground pipes and supplied through large blowers. Otherwise, the ponds are aerated with mechanical aerators, which are powered by 3-phase underground power. Each pond also has its own independent water supply. Here you can see some of the larger ponds on the farm, on the left. These ponds are called plankton ponds. This is where we grow our perch and cod fingerlings. Below us now you can see one that's been drying, and most of these ponds have drainage sumps where we can drain all of the water and harvest the last of the fish. Each one, as I said before, has its own water supply. Water is supplied to these ponds through 4-inch underground mains. This is what we call the house pond. It provides water to the house, the fish house, and the garden. We also use it to grow on special breeders. These are fish that we've chosen from our fingerlings that are clearly faster growers than the general population of fingerlings. ponds you see below us in the left-hand corner of the picture are broodstock ponds. In these ponds we hold Murray cod, silver perch, jade perch and golden perch. In this area of the farm we find a number of our plankton ponds. In the distance you can see another one of our storage dams, and to the left some of our broodstock ponds. This storage dam was the original dam that we used for water supply for approximately 5 or 6 years at the beginning of Ausyfish's life. Those ponds you see in the top left here are used to hold more of our broodstock. Ausyfish was the first hatchery to produce commercial quantities of many of Australia's freshwater fish, including archerfish and jade perch. Ausyfish was the first to ever breed sleepy cod in captivity and the first to produce a commercial crop of fingerlings. Ausyfish has all the necessary accreditation to export Australian native fish, including those protected species such as Murray cod. Our hatchery facility is approved by the Australian Federal Government as a quarantine centre for the export of freshwater Australian native fish. To the best of my knowledge, at the time this video was made, we were one of only 2 hatcheries in Australia that meet the disease-free accreditation required for exporting to many of the Asian and European countries. Our aquaculture approval is in perpetuity and has the largest list of approved species of any hatchery in Australia. If you have any further questions about Ausyfish, you can email me at bruce@ausyfish.com, and that's spelt AUSYFISH. You can also call my mobile, which is 0407 797 149. With 200 acres, about 80 hectares, there's tons of room to move. Part of the land that hasn't been developed yet has already been cleared with the future in mind. This is my son's house. His house is only a few hundred meters from the hatchery. There is the potential to develop this entire area in the future. When my son built his house, we had the future in mind. Instead of taking the power lines down the road, we brought the power lines through the middle of the property. This means that when we need electricity closer to the ponds that we may build in the future, the cost will be far less. The power is already halfway there. Here again, we had the future in mind. When the underground water supply and the underground air to the other ponds was constructed, we brought the pipe right to the end of these ponds. It's ready to connect on to any future development in this cleared area. This brighter green area has already been cleared and is ready for the construction of ponds.
Way off in the distance, you can see the boundary of the pineapple farm. Our boundary is to the left of that. Many, many acres ready to be developed.